Mary Todd is Shane's mother. She's here in Studio 57. Her new book is called Hard Drive. It's a family's fight against three countries. Good morning to you, Mary.
Good morning,
I have to say, I first saw this story on 48 Hours, and I remember really crying in my home. I was so angry, so upset, and so sad that you lost your son this way.
Thank you.
And you are, and I have to say, I'm very, very sorry. Very, very sorry for your loss.
Thank you very much.
But you all were convinced, starting with the suicide note, that there is no way that he could have done this. What was in the suicide note that you knew this wasn't him?
Well, from the first paragraph that I read, that was my first sense of joy from the time we found out that my son had hung himself, supposedly. And I knew the first paragraph weren't his words. He was saying nice things about the company that he hated and was leaving. And so I knew.
And he told you he was worried about the company.
Right. He told us that he was being asked to
afraid.
compromise U.S. security. He quit his job, and then he told us his life was being threatened.
It also didn't appear to be written by an American either.
That's correct. And we've had that substantiated by 2 PhDs since then.
Mary, how has the U.S. government responded to your reaction to this?
Well, initially we got help from the U.S. government, but at some point it was shut down, and we didn't understand why. We kept looking for help, and we had proof that he was murdered. And Congressman Wolf and Congressman Daines were very helpful in Montana, Congressman Wolf from Virginia, but others weren't. Senator Baucus was very helpful until he became the ambassador to China.
Yeah, that's interesting. Let's talk about the officer on the case was 23 years old who was investigating this case. Let's start with that. And when he talked about the details of the suicide, when you went into Shane's bathroom, you could tell it didn't happen the way they said, based on the physical evidence.
Right. Yeah, we walked in. He said that he put bolts on the walls and ropes and pulleys and everything, so I couldn't wait to get to that bathroom. And once I did, it was marble walls. There were no holes in the walls. The toilet wasn't in the right place, and it was a standard-sized door. Now, my son is 6'1", and I couldn't figure out how it possibly could have happened.
Did they ever give you any answers? I know you said, we heard in the story they never wanted to give you the rope that he hung himself with, or he allegedly hung himself with.
Right.
Did they ever tell you why they wouldn't give you that information or let you see the things you wanted to see?
Well, according to Shane's girlfriend, he was tied up when she found him. It was a wire around his neck, and there was no towel. And so when the police, they said there was a towel and a strap. And the towel and strap had Malaysian and Chinese DNA on it. So we spent thousands of dollars to go to court to retain that evidence, DNA evidence, and 2 courts said to destroy it, and it has since been destroyed.
Mary, we reached out to the State Department, and an official said they remain at your disposal, but the Singapore police have jurisdiction. From what you understand, where could this go now in terms of the courts or the police there?
Well, first of all, the State Department in Singapore called the inquiry into my son's death fair and transparent and comprehensive. We would like them to rescind that statement. It was a sham. And so our State Department might be saying that, but that's not the case.
And one of the things you and Christina, your niece who have written this book, say that you want to exonerate your son's memory. What do you mean by that?
60 years from now, when my relatives look at this story, I want them to know the truth, that my son died an American hero. He did not commit suicide.
And the country, you think, has let you down.
The country has let us down.
All right, Mary Todd, 48 Hours. We'll have more on this story. The name of the book, Hard Drive. Let's talk about that for a second, just for a second. Because hard drive means what to you?
We found what I thought was a Mac speaker in Shane's apartment, and it ended up being an external hard drive. And it's the evidence on that hard drive that we found out Huawei, in relationship to IME, the company Shane worked for in Singapore, were asking Shane to compromise U.S. security. It was accessed after Shane's death, specific files that showed the relationship between Huawei and IME, and it was a very sensitive GaN technology, gallium nitride, and an MOCVD machine that Shane had to sign an export license to not transfer it to any enemy countries.
There is so much more to this story. Hard drive refers to as hard drive. It also responds to how the family is working on this story. It is a hard drive.
It's a very hard drive.
I wish you well. Hard Drive goes on sale on Tuesday, and you can see Peter Van Sant's full report. It's called Spies, Lies, and Secrets on 48 Hours. That's tomorrow night at 10, 9 Central, right here on CBS.